I don't like government getting involved, but the homeless are just getting out there. It's getting out of control. They're sleeping in our parks. Do you want them sleeping in our parks where our kids are playing, or should we get them somewhere?
The unaffordability of homes is a huge problem. Donald Trump addressed that recently.
And I'm also making it a lot easier to buy a thing called a house. Last week I signed an executive order to ban Wall Street and large institutional investors from buying up all the single-family homes in America.
It looks like he's going after the hedge funds and preventing them from interfering or investing in a single-family residential home space.
I'm trying to wake people up. They're like, why does the city keep doing this? Why does the city keep doing this? Well, have you looked into who's putting these policies in charge? Why do you keep voting for this insanity?
I'm Dr. Ori Nagy with the Dr. Nagy Show. I'm here running for Nevada's 3rd Congressional District against Susie Lee, and I'm here to talk today with Alex Wayne.
How you doing, Dr. Nagy?
Good to speak with you.
Good.
You're going to tell us about the Save Nevada PAC.
Yeah, so, it started actually originally as Recall Sisolak by a guy named John Cardiff Gearhart. He wanted to attempt the 3rd and final recall attempt against Governor Sisolak when, the mandates and lockdowns, things like that.
Tell me about the first two.
The first two?
The first 2 recall attempts against Sisolak.
That was done, I think, by, I think that was done before COVID, before the lockdowns and stuff. I think, because I saw stickers and stuff, people are already trying to recall them and stuff.
What was the premise?
I don't know much about that organization or stuff. The second recall, so there was a group called Fight for Nevada at the time.
Okay.
They were
This was
trying...
2020, 2021?
2021.
Okay.
Maybe 2020, I think. Yeah, about from February to November timeline.
All right.
From 2020. A group they assembled called Fight for Nevada, I guess. It was taken over by Rudy Cly and Matt Anthony.
Okay.
They were trying to get volunteers together, gather the resources, things like that. And they were saying, guys, look, because the state constitution says you have 90 days to file your petition, and you got to have a certain amount of signatures. And the signatures have to be by people who vote in that election from 2018 that voted for that governor election. It can't just be any registered voter.
Okay.
So they were trying to get everything all together, and what happened was there was a group of people that were not patient. They didn't want to, basically the lack of prep work. And so a group seceded away. They took some information and stuff. That's what I heard. I don't know the details. I wasn't that really involved. And they started the second recall attempt. That was during COVID, the lockdowns and stuff. And it still failed tremendously. They just weren't prepared, didn't have spots.
Okay. So I'm going to ask to do a little bit of background. Introduce yourself a little bit. So how long have you been here in Nevada, and how did you decide to get involved in politics?
I've been here about 36 years. Look, I hate the government. I hate government in general. It's not even about politics or anything. I think we're all sick and tired of a lot of kitchen table issues that are hitting everyday Nevadans. We've seen this town, change throughout the years. We're starting to see homeless everywhere. Where did they come from out of nowhere? Now that's affecting, when you go grocery shopping, you go to Walmart, you see all your shampoo is locked up now. And I'm not just saying just homeless in general. It could be anybody stealing that shampoo and stuff. In the state law states, you can steal up to $1,200, and it's not a felony.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. You can't protect your own property. And that is what's causing all this to our locked up merchandises, our small businesses. Can't even protect your property, can't even protect yourselves these days.
Yeah, it's out of control.
Yeah.
So that's where you decided to get involved in politics?
It was about 2020 or so. When I saw small business owners getting locked, basically the government was picking and choosing winners and losers.
Yep.
They were saying the virus was it's serious, stay at home, but essential businesses like the big box stores like Costco, Walmart, you're seeing lines just going right inside. Everybody's all crammed in, but even though they tell you 6 feet apart, when you're walking down the grocery aisle, somebody's walking right by you. So what's the difference between that and you do it at a little small comic book store or at a restaurant or so? I mean, the whole thing was about picking winners and losers. So it was hypocrisy of why did a big business get to stay open, but the little guy had to shut down?
So the laws should apply fairly to everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
And the injustice of it, it's galling.
Yes.
And it causes people to be angry
Yes.
because, nobody wants to see that somebody's getting something, being favored over somebody else when we want everybody to have.
And to be honest, when COVID started, we started hearing about this and stuff. Like, I was going to my chiropractor every week from my car accident. The doctors weren't requiring it, but we started, voluntarily wearing masks and stuff. We were just taking precautions and stuff. I don't think anybody made a big deal about it. So if you really had a concern about, you wanted to be safe, you wanted to play it safe, you go to a business, that's their right to play it safe. You don't want to wear a mask, go to that business that's not making you wear a mask. I think everybody was happy leaving it up to the free market to decide that. And what happened? Government got involved, started picking winners and losers, who gets to do this and who doesn't get to do that.
And it shut down a lot of good businesses in the city.
Yes.
One of the businesses I was most angry about getting shut down was Bigelow Aerospace. So Bigelow Aerospace was working here in Las Vegas, and they were a cutting-edge research company. They built the equipment that's now on the space station. And their end goal was to one day build a hotel in space and potentially like casinos in space. We're in Las Vegas, we build casinos, and why not have one in space? And during the pandemic, they were not deemed an essential corporation, and they were forced to close. And Bigelow, who had hired all of those really top flight NASA engineers, could no longer keep them on payroll if they weren't doing any work. So he had to shut down. They all were fired, and he couldn't hire them back after the pandemic was over because they found jobs everywhere else. So Nevada lost this tremendously productive business and this source of innovation where we're leading the world into this technology, gone, and unnecessarily so,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
Yeah. So, I started to get involved and I helped some good candidates out there. I got introduced to an attorney named Joey Gilbert at the time.
Oh yeah,
He was actually representing small businesses. He was doing it pro bono.
is that right?
He was taking
He's the guy with the ads when you get off the plane in the Reno airport. He's I'm fighting for you as like a boxer.
I've never been to Reno.
Oh yeah, it's a great it's very effective. I remembered it, and I haven't seen that ad in like 4 or 5 years.
And I was like, man, somebody out here is out there trying to help the little guy out here who doesn't know what to do. Yeah. And so Joey Gilbert was just taking donations from the community and volunteers to go out, help spread his word out there. I believe attorney Sigal Chatta was also doing that too.
Okay.
And they were kind of the duo of Joey Gilbert and Sigal running governor and attorney general at the time.
And so Seagal had successfully defended some January 6th folks. Is that right? Or she had done something that was something that was important to a lot of people in our community.
I believe I haven't paid too much attention to case by case.
Okay, but yeah, but
I can't even tell you the names of the businesses Joey Gilbert was helping, but Joey Gilbert just said, take my flyers, give them to small businesses. I'm here to help them.
yeah, that's really a nice thing. So you got involved with helping him with that?
Yes, I helped him with that. And then, we didn't know who was going to run for governor at the time. Joey Gilbert was being talked into it. We heard he didn't want to do it. Finally, one day he's on his Facebook live video and he says, it's official. I'm throwing my name in for governor. Well, all right. We were like, let's make it happen. So it was a total grassroots effort. Unfortunately, Governor Lombardo won the primary.
He's doing a good job, I think. But
I had some issues. We got a lot of us had some questions and concerns, and Joey, at the end of the day, I don't know what happened. I think it sounded like, Governor Lombardo, and this is where I'll get to, some candidates that have made mistakes in the past.
Okay.
Governor Lombardo, I believe, reached out to Joey Gilbert to get his support, his endorsement after the primary. And, maybe there was a great conversation between both of them, which led to, Lombardo vetoing a lot of those bad bills that was in the legislative session in Nevada.
So in the end, it looks like a lot of things that Joey wanted to happen at the state level, Joe Lombardo was able to effectuate.
I think so. It looked like, well, I'm glad to hear. They were really great. Talking, behind, we're like, wow, Lombardo's actually been better than we thought.
I'm glad to hear.
Hats off. Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters.
I think he's done right by a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you guys are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but it sounds like your, journey into politics came from a really great place, like just wanting to help people who've been oppressed by the government.
I also helped Sherelle Mendenhall run for U.S. Senate, too. It was basically our core. Joey Gilbert, Segal, Sherelle, and then Stan Hite for sheriff.
Okay.
We took all those, all their lits. We put them all in a little door hanging packet. We put them on doors. Honestly, we were all a bunch of rookies too. I think we made our fair share of mistakes when we were out there going.
Okay.
Sherelle obviously did make it. Adam Laxalt won that year.
Yeah.
And so I made connections, know Sherelle till this day. We still talk, we're still friends.
Okay.
And then right after, also too, like I said, so how the Recall Sislak project wanted to take off, we just got to get the resources, things like that. There's a video on veterans and politics. There's an episode. John Cardiff Gearhart is on that episode with some other people that I know. Those other people are also not involved in the project anymore. Right after Sislak lost, though, we were like, okay, he's gone. Now what? And I just decided I had something else I wanted to do just in case we couldn't get a recall going or anything.
Okay.
I was like, save Nevada. Literally trying to save our state.
Yeah.
So it was rebranded. Recall Sislak is now called Save Nevada.
Got it.
And I didn't know what I was going to do with it or so. I just, as I was just going, I was reporting news on things that every day that people don't see.
So you have a website or a blog that equal.
Finally, we have a website. It's called savenevada.us.
Okay.
And we formed a PAC. We have a local PAC. That's for state candidates for the assembly. We're very heavily too on the county commissioners. We do some school board.
Okay.
We've already done some pre-endorsements, something we've never done before. We were kind of like, somewhat pre-endorsements in the past, but like this time it's real serious now.
It's a service that you guys perform for people because not everybody has all the time in the world to go and research all the candidates or every single office and go into background of who these people are. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of time and effort to become an informed voter.
Yeah.
But if you can find a voice that you trust out there who's going to go and do the background and do it in an honest and objective way and sort of summarize it for you,
That will help a lot of people out there.
So, and from what you're telling me now, I mean, all you've done is go out there with an earnest heart to help people do better and fight for the underdog and put together a list of people that you think are going to do the best thing for our community. So that's pretty great. So thank you for doing that.
One of the things too, we encourage we're trying to encourage.
Can people donate to your website? Yes, I'll continue to be able to do that.
If you see Save Nevada PAC, you'll see all the local stuff on there. Go to local issues. You'll see some stuff that's going on here in the local community. We talk about the homeless. We talked about the locked up merchandise. Our schools are being ran like prisons, literally. And some solutions that we'd like to bring to the table to new legislatures, how we can solve a lot of these issues.
What are some of the solutions that you're putting forward?
Like the homeless, the locked up. I mean, look, I don't like government getting involved, but the homeless are just getting out there. It's getting out of control. They're sleeping in our parks. Do you want them sleeping in our parks where our kids are playing, or should we get them somewhere?
It would be nice if they had.
We have tons of empty buildings in town. Why don't we work with some of these landlords, get some shelters up real quick, even if they have to look at each other, or rather them look at each other than sleeping in our parks.
That's not an unreasonable thing. And I'm sure that you'd appreciate being out of the cold.
Yes.
Right. It's and maybe they can get some resources if they've got an addiction problem. They can get my understanding is there's a several $100 million project that's going up I believe on Charleston to help with this. And there's another group trying to put up another one out a couple $100 million project out in Emergosa Valley, and they're both targeting these sorts of populations of people who don't have a home right now, or people who are struggling with addiction and need to kind of get away in an isolated environment where they can get an education, focus on rebuilding themselves and their lives, and then re-entering society.
There's been a little bit of a backlash on where the shelter's going. I mean, we'll never know until we get the shelter up and see what's going on. No, we do not want people outside camping, things like that, walking out of the shelter, go to the corner store and you're still stealing. We don't want any of that.
So it's a safety issue for kids.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. So that's a important thing to draw people's attention to, and it's a reasonable solution you're putting forward. What other solutions are you guys proposing?
A lot of taxes and cost of living. I mean, there's an old picture that you'll see on the website
It says Nevada state line, no income tax, no sales tax, no inheritance tax, no corporation tax, no gift tax. All of a sudden now, Nevada's getting so expensive to live.
So that's the sign, the actual sign that used to be at the state line?
Yes.
No kidding.
Yep. It's on the website. I got it right on there. You know, and then we reported, it was before COVID or so, we had it on video. The CCSD superintendent at the time, Jesus Strara, he was there at the county commissioner meeting lobbying to raise our sales tax. You know, these county commissioners are raising our sales taxes, they're raising our gas taxes. I have all the sources right here on here. Clark County approves raising sales taxes 1/8 of a cent. AB 359, the gas tax hike. Also, too, why is Nevada one of the highest car insurance rates in the country?
Yeah, well, we have the highest car insurance rates because we have the most successful personal injury attorneys.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the reality of it, right?
Well, you know, and why do you see billboards everywhere of law firms?
Yeah. So, interestingly, my understanding of it, I'm not an attorney, but my understanding is we have a law that allows the attorney to find liability from on the part of the insurance company, even if the person who's involved in the accident has had another way to recover to cover the loss. So let's say the person has his own personal car insurance and there's a car accident and his own insurance covers whatever damages happen. That does not alleviate the obligation of the party that caused the accident from having to pay the full cost of all the damages and fees and things like this. And because they're allowed to go after that individual as well, all of us basically subsidize that very high cost for the amount of money they're able to extract from the system. Now, who's to say whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing? Because, you know, if that person caused liability, then maybe it's the right thing that they can pull that money out of it. But I will say it does make the cost of living more expensive for every person living in our state. Yeah. And it would be great if we could find a way to make Nevada more affordable.
The city has grown a little bit. I think, you know, a lot of this is not talked about. Some people disagree, but our urban planning is also a problem. You're seeing all houses all across.
And you'll be going down houses miles and miles and miles. Then finally you get a corner store or a grocery store. And how do you got to get there? Got to get in your car and drive. Yeah. Our system, our urban planning is made for cars. It's not. We don't have options for the people who can't afford car. Make things walkable for some people.
Sure.
We're not saying, you know, condense everybody in together, nothing like that. No, we should absolutely still have some homes. People want to be free from that. Let's have some options here. We got a lot of codes that are in the middle of all this too. That's the problem. So I think just deregulating everything, let a free market dictate the flow of things is the answer to all of this.
I mean, those are not unreasonable positions.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, the city planning, that's it'd be interesting to get a city planner on here to talk about that. I'm not an expert on that issue.
That's where libertarians argue. I go, well, who would decide the spaghetti bowls and how to map the roads, things like that? The simple answer is a good entrepreneur would be good at that.
Well, now that's an interesting argument, right? Because it would take an awful lot of finance to create a toll road that would replace the spaghetti bowl, right? And you'd have to be awfully creative to make that happen. And I think on that similar kind of a point, it would be nice if an entrepreneur would step up and build us an elevated rail system here or a subway system here.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, other than the tunnels that Elon Musk had created or the monorail that connects a couple of the casinos, we haven't seen that happen yet.
Yeah.
And it's just been it's been too hefty a price tag for that project for any individual entrepreneur, and frankly, even for the city to take on, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, the entrepreneur was also capped at what they could do with that monorail. Like, where could it go? They won't let the monorail get attached to the airport.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. That was a lot of lobbying that prevented that from happening. Yeah. I remember that part. And now the guys who are putting together the Zoox robots and the other automated driving machines, I guess they're gonna. That's going to give Uber and a lot of the drivers a lot of competition, isn't it? It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out.
But when we started the project too, we were going to local town halls. We were going to the town halls of the county commissioners, legislatures and stuff. We got it all on camera.
we're asking them, what are you guys thinking doing this? Why are you guys doing that? Why you guys? And they're just ignoring what we're trying to bring to the table. They stand on that stage about the whole half hour talking, and then there's like 30 people in that room, and they go, oh, okay, we only have time for 3 questions.
Yeah, you see a lot of that, sadly, right? Where they try to stifle the questions or the opposition or anybody who's going to try and hold them accountable, and that makes me sad when I see that happening. I was going to testify at an event like that too at the state level, and then right as I was going to be the guy who was going to be testifying, they like said, "Okay, we're done now," and I was just like, "Wow, did they do that because they didn't want to hear what I had to say because they knew what I was about to say?"
Yeah.
But so they do have a lot of tools at their disposal to silence opposition.
Yeah.
Which prevents us from having a open discourse about how our government should be operated.
Exactly.
So for that reason, I guess we have to get people who are more willing to communicate elected, or at least represent the ideas that we're putting forward. So to that extent, you're actively trying to get people elected to different positions in government.
I'm trying to wake people up as far as, seeing the community see what their local elected officials have been doing, what they voted for. I don't know if you go to the Strip every day or drive by the Strip every day, but you have your average casino worker go to the Strip every day. There's traffic cones everywhere. They're like, why does the city keep doing this? Why does the city keep doing this? Well, have you looked into who's putting these policies in charge? It's your local county commissioners and your city councilmen. Why do you keep voting for this insanity?
That's fair, actually.
Yeah.
So I first met you over a year ago at, was it Susan Kears?
It was a woman named Danny Keir. She was hosting a town hall event. It was the Clark County Republican Central Committee. They're a little organization. They help candidates out in general. I decided to throw my name in for political director. There was a lot of between Jesse Law, who was the current chairman at the time, and then the newcomer, Jill Douglas. Right. They went head to head 2 years ago. A lot of people they didn't know who Jill was. Some people weren't excited. They didn't know who she was. And she lost the first round. And sometimes it's like a saying in boxing. It's not who you fight them, it's when you fight them. Okay. So 2 years later, what happened? The rematch happened. And, with Jesse Law the whole time when he was chair, there were some steps taken forward. The Republicans did flip 80-35. They flipped Lori Rogich's seat, state senate. I think that's District 10. Okay. They flipped the county commissioner. They finally got a Republican on the county commissioner the first time in 15 years. They got 2, they are registered Republicans, but they're, it's a nonpartisan race, the school boards. Okay. We finally got some conservatives on there that, can stop a lot of this woke agenda that the leftists have been pushing in our school districts.
So the Clark County Republican Party is that entity within the county that is working to get Republicans elected to different positions in both the state legislature and in county government and in city elections. Yeah. They've been having some successes, both under Jesse Law, and now hopefully we'll see that under Jill Douglas as well.
So as I said, after all the seats that we flipped, there's an argument. Hey, we made some progress. There's arguments we could have done better. Right. Right. Jill Douglas came back again, and I give her credit. And I threw my name in because I was just getting to the point where, I think I'm well liked enough by both sides that if I am in there with Jill Douglas and the people had concerns with Jill Douglas, maybe they'll be okay with us, I can be reasonable, work with her. Same thing with Jesse Law. If Jesse Law was going to serve a 3rd term, hey, some people are frustrated with Jesse Law. Hey, maybe I can get in there. I could work with him too. That's where I was kind of like taking a neutral stance on.
I was really moved by your speech that day. You spoke so well and so passionately and so from the heart. I just thought, here's somebody who loves his community, who loves our state, and he wants, what's best for everybody in our community. I was moved listening to you, and I was very surprised that you didn't win that day. I was like, wow, but the other your opponent's speech was also very good, right? She did speak very well that day.
The night before, I typed that speech, and I'm like, what is in my head? I got 1,000 things in my head. How do I do this and that? I got cut off that day too.
That's true. Yeah, there was another, you had another section or page or two to go.
Yeah.
And you're out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When I jumped in too, I had second thoughts too. I was all like, There's one problem with it. It's volunteer work.
Yeah. Well, and I will say though, since that time, even though you didn't win that spot, I haven't seen. I mean, still see you out there, working for the same goals to get Republicans elected, to help move that agenda forward, yeah, and to fight on behalf of the underdog, which is kind of right where we started, which is what you're out there trying to do, yeah. And I mean, God bless you for that, because that's tough work, and thankless work, and you're kind of you're not stopping.
There were some things that, have changed in the Clark County Republican Central Committee. When I was helping Joey Gilbert, Sherelle, and Segal at the time, that crowd has kind of died away. I think I was missing that crowd with some of those votes.
I'm sorry, what are you in missing that crowd? Mean, what do you mean?
So you know how to get involved in the CCRP, the CCRCC now? You got to attend 2 meetings, and then you become a member, yes, and then you can officially vote. So that crowd, that was all with those 3, with the core there.
Those people hadn't really been involved since that election.
I see. So when they were involved, there were a lot more people who you knew who were supporting them too, and they would have, had they been involved in this last election when you were running, yeah, that might have made the difference.
There was a candidate who ran for county assessor in 2022. Her name was Helen Osaguro. She endorsed me. I didn't really brag about my former candidate endorsements too. That was probably a mistake I made, but Helen endorsed me, and Helen wasn't even there. She had a family emergency and stuff, and she texted me. She said, "Alex, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you." It's like, Helen, it's all good. I'm more than happy I had your support.
So what are you guys focusing on this cycle? So where are you focusing your efforts, and what does the messaging you're kind of putting up using? How can people find out about it? And say the name again of the website. You can
SaveNevada.us.
SaveNevada.us, and they can go see the both news about these the issues that you're posting, the potential laws that you're putting forward, the solutions to problems that a lot of people are facing, as well as who's running in which elections, and who you think is looking like somebody who's represented.
We have, you go to the top left section, you'll see local issues, you'll see it's all going to explain itself right there, what's going on in Nevada, what we're trying to bring to the table to fix it, get some baby steps in there. Then we have our federal issues as well, where we're helping federal candidates. We're trying to clean house, basically.
Okay. Now, so I've been talking to a lot of the folks on our campaign, and I've been kind of lamenting the fact that there aren't enough Republican news organizations in our community where people can go and they can find, the objective facts about what's going on and hear the news without sort of seeing this far left slant on things.
That's why number 1, I ran for political director, and number 2, I have the Save Nevada project. I feel that, number 1, I think candidates don't know how to campaign that well on some of these topics. They don't know what to do on their opponent. Republicans just do your typical, First Amendment, Second Amendment, lower taxes, but that's not winning the independents. They want, what are you going to do? Kitchen table issues. What are the everyday issues that affect me?
Are you selling ad space on your site, or are there Google ads running? I mean, it takes work and time to do what you're doing.
Yes.
And you can't do it for free. So, and I mean, people can donate some, but I think a lot of these media things generate revenue from ads, no? Like Google ads and stuff like that.
We're looking into those kinds of options too. We're trying to, this time, we'd never really raised money. I mean...
Well, let us know. We can run an ad for our campaign up there if you want, because I mean, I believe in what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I am, applaud your effort and your energy, and I'd like to see you get your message out there to more people.
Yeah. The last few years, even when I ran for political director, I took a lot of heat. I took a lot of attack ads. I mean,
Everybody in politics does.
Yeah. So, I figured, with, this, we didn't take any money. We haven't made money off of this. We lost money doing this.
I'm sure.
So one of the guys who helps me out with this project now, his name's Cyrus Hajati. He has his own YouTube channel. He's going to all those town hall events. He's doing all the groundwork, asking the elected officials the tough questions they're not answering. It's, as what we were talking about earlier.
That's what journalists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But Cyrus, he donates what he can to help candidates out. This time I was just like, I was getting so frustrated, with candidates. For example, a couple of candidates that I helped a few years ago, I'm seeing all the attack mailers in there. This candidate's a MAGA extremist. This candidate is going to take away a woman's right. And that's, dumb voters look at that stuff and they go, this is a bad person. I don't want to vote for them.
So the attack ads are effective that way, huh?
Sadly, a lot of people, they'll say they don't like it, but if outside of our circle, when you go in your own neighborhood or so, I think maybe the common voter sees it differently.
Well, sometimes you just sort of go with what you remember seeing last, right?
So when I ran for political director, one thing I want to do is candidates just toughen up a little bit. I'm not asking you to attack somebody as a person. I'm asking you to attack their policy, what they voted for.
I think that's fair game, right? If people kind of put themselves out on a position, you can attack the position without attacking the person.
Exactly. So Cyrus, when he was ready to donate money to candidates and stuff, I said, hold on, let's try something different. We decided to, against one of the county commissioners, we decided we made 4x8 street signs. We made about 17 of those.
Okay.
We put them out. We put Tax Hike Mike voted for the Formula One race mess with traffic cones on there. We put a picture of him with a mask on.
Okay.
We made another one of him calling him a Sislak puppet. There's more homeless, more crime. He won by 10,000 votes in 2020. 2024, he only won by 4,000 votes.
All right. So you guys had some effect. 6,000 votes gone with 17 signs.
I moved some of the signs around too. I put them in good spots. I put them in, I don't want to give away all my secrets.
I don't need to know. But you guys were effective, is your point.
Yes.
Well, that's really great.
Yeah.
And congrats. And I mean, you found something. You found somebody who you thought was causing harm to our state, and you did what you could to.
We helped. Not just that. We helped a lot of candidates that the governor didn't endorse early on. We're like, why isn't the governor giving everybody a chance? We helped out Kelly Chapman. We helped Erica Neely.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Hamilton, who ran for county commissioner.
I know all three of those people. They're nice folks.
We went after their opponents for them.
Erica got close, I think.
So I think Steve Yeager 2 years ago won that race by 2,000 or 3,000 votes. And we put 10 signs against him, by the way. We put sleazy Steve Yeager voted for the gas tax hike.
Yes, well, yeah. He's I think Steve's pretty easy to attack. He has a lot of things you could have gone.
He's the Speaker of the House. I mean, he's bringing all these bad bills to the floor.
There was a lot of bad things they did, honestly. I was very upset to watch the way a lot of the legislature happened these last two cycles.
Yeah. So from 2,000 or 3,000 votes he won by 800 votes.
Oh wow.
That's
so
how
you guys were very effective.
That's how close it got. Because we woke the people up. We were educating them on the stuff that they're voting for and bringing to the table.
In the name of your website again, let's see.
Save Nevada. SAVE Nevada, not Nevada. At NEVADA.US, not .com, .US. You'll see two sections on there. You'll see Save Nevada, and then you'll see Save Nevada USA. That is the federal PAC.
All right, we'll put some ads up on there or have a donate button because people are going to try when they see this because they're going to want to help you in your mission. You're doing good things. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much. Is there anything you need to ask me or anything that you think we need to address or talk about? When you're out there talking to people, what do people want to see happen on a federal level? I win this, I get to Washington, what's the first thing I need to do?
I think we need to somehow stop this inflation.
Okay.
I think it's just easy. Get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, okay. So Federal Reserve, I think honestly, the fastest way to go after them is to promote Bitcoin. So I was just talking to somebody recently. What ends up happening is as more people utilize Bitcoin, and if they are able to use it for regular transactions, what happens now when you deposit $1,000 in the bank is the bank can go and loan out that $1,000, but they do that over and over again, relying on the idea that nobody's going to pull out their $1,000 out of the bank right away. And most people just leave their money in the bank and just use a little bit of it at a time. So they'll take that same $1,000, they'll loan it out 10 different times and make interest on all of those loans. And that's how banks operate and function. But if you have Bitcoin that you've deposited, well, every unit of currency of Bitcoin has its own serial number. So they can't make something up and loan it out because the whole fractional reserve banking system collapses, which would mean the Federal Reserve would collapse and be unnecessary or not useful in our country. And since we already have a digital means of settling transactions, originally the purpose of the Federal Reserve was to help banks settle transactions before we had a rapid way of having banks connect with each other.
How many major banks do we have out there now? We don't have too many out there.
We have at least 6 that are very influential.
We're really lacking competition. It's an oligopoly. The interest rates are high. It's making unaffordable for the common person to buy a home these days.
Yeah, the unaffordability of homes is a huge problem. Donald Trump addressed that recently, and it looks like he's going after the hedge funds and preventing them from interfering or investing in a single-family residential home space, which will remove a lot of capital from that space, and therefore prices will fall, and it should make them more affordable. I was talking to the head of the Nevada Realty Association about some things that we could do here in Nevada at the passing laws here, and all of those things would reduce prices. And when you're going out and you're about to do things like that, you want to remove as many enemies as possible, right? Because they'll try to stop you at the legislature. So, head of the Nevada Real Estate Association, they have a lot of people who they can move to vote. So I asked her, "Is this something you guys get behind if we, help reduce prices?" And she said, "Absolutely." And I said, "But you guys will make less money on every commission." She says, "Yeah, but we're going to have 3 times as many commissions that we make. So we're absolutely in favor of making more homes affordable, more transactions will happen, and young people are going to get into homes." So I think it's going to be a thing that most people are going to be able to get behind. Yeah. The other thing that's going to happen, the builders are going to have an issue with falling home prices. And so the pathway to helping the builders with this is, so the cost of a home is the cost of labor, the cost of land, and the cost of materials. Cost of labor we're not going to be able to bring down. The cost of land I can help with if we release more of the federal land here at the federal level. And the cost of materials I can help with too. Because one, we can help promote the introduction of new technologies that allow the construction of homes more cheaply. There's a lot of 3D printing of homes with and new versions of concrete that will help us to deal with the tariffs and the elevated lumber prices that we're getting from Canada as they're fighting with us over trade issues that they've been really beating us up over for many years. And so, we'll be able to help deal with that also with the rise of the steel subsidies that the benefits for steel manufacturing that the Trump is putting into place that will help steel frame construction fall in price and enable more affordable.
Well, the one good thing, though, about reducing labor, Governor Lombardo actually got this through. He cut some red tape on the process for contractors to get a general contractor's license.
Nice.
So that's also a step forward.
Everything that reduces regulation and makes business easier.
If we get more contractors out there, get more builders out there, encourage more hands-on trades, this will be better for our economy in the long run.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we're moving in the right direction on that. So we're moving in the right direction on the affordability of homes. I want to see us move right in the right direction on the affordability of energy. I'm very upset with the doubling in the prices of electricity over here for that NV Energy put in. I worry that it's going to be due to data centers, that they're not charging the data centers enough and the electricity bills, and they're pushing that cost onto the regular consumers. If that's the cause of it, then we're going to need to have data centers provide their own electricity, either with modular or nuclear reactors or building their own solar arrays or whatever it's going to be.
Speaking of energy, it was on the ballot back in 2016 or 2018 to get rid of the NV Energy monopoly in our Constitution. People still voted to keep it.
Well, maybe they need some more education on that issue, and sites like yours where you can get factual news will help them.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing people need to ask is, you see our current Congress people, Susie Lee, Jackie Rosen, and Stephen Horsford, they all say they support small businesses, they're walking in small businesses. Where were they from 2020 to 2022 when those businesses were locked down?
Yeah, they were sitting down doing nothing.
And they got rewarded to keep their job in D.C.
Susie Lee could have stood up and helped a lot in Nevada, and she stayed sitting down. Yeah. She needs to go. She is not right for CD3. Yep.
She said she's the most bipartisan senator, but she voted with Biden 100% of the time.
And against Trump as much as possible. Yeah, and if she wins in the end, she's going to try and impeach that matter each that she gets. Oh, yeah. Thanks for being on the show. And I'm Dr. Nagy with the Dr. Nagy Show. I'm asking for your support. And I'm asking you guys to help support this guy, man.
SaveNevada.us. Just go right to the website. You'll see 2 options, Save Nevada PAC, and you'll see Save Nevada USA PAC. Save Nevada USA PAC, again, they're helping the Congress candidates out. Save Nevada PAC is helping local candidates out.
Thanks for being on the show. This podcast is a campaign communication paid for by Nagy for Congress and authorized by me, Dr. Nagy. The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the campaign or its affiliates. Discussions are intended for informational and conversational purposes only and do not constitute legal, financial, or professional advice. Any references to public policy matters reflect general positions and priorities at the time of the recording and are subject to change based on legislative process and voter input.